Hey guys, what's up? Yet again, myself Shrishti Rishyam. I've come up with a new lesson in my course English for the Thinkers, and today we will talk about importance of punctuation. I know we all know what punctuations are, but hey guys, do we really know its importance? Not just when we write, not just when we have to fill in the blanks for a particular paragraph, but punctuations also determine the way we talk. Each of that mark actually helps us express ourselves with the way we talk. So when we read a particular passage, we know how to express and when to raise our volume, when to show how amused we are, or when to take a pause, when not to take a pause. Not just when we read, also when we speak is when we can know which punctuation is to be put where. So like now that I'm talking to y'all might have realized that somewhere there is a millisecond gap, like there's a gap of a millisecond. This means that at the end of every sentence, I'm making a complete use of a full stop. I'm making a complete use of full stop in such a way that I'm expressing that this particular part I have just finished off. So these small things do make a bigger impact, and that's why importance of punctuations. Before I go ahead with my lesson, I'm gonna get y'all introduced to me all over again. That's me. And academically, I have done my bachelor's in business under London School of Economics. It was really tough, yeah, ask me about it. On the professional front, I am heading the business development department of Rare Technologies. We deal with a lot of machineries basically. And alongside, I'm a teacher at this NGO called the Candle Project, where we teach English, computers, and confidence building to the underprivileged kids. We make sure basically whatever we have, we get it inherited in them. And on the personal front, I'm a marathoner, a hiker, and a big time football and a fitness freak. Hey guys, most importantly, you all must follow me at this link that I've presented. And along with just following, please let me know about what y'all think about this lesson. Any question y'all have, your ratings, or however y'all want to express it out, please go for it. Now, coming to different kind of punctuations, we know the basic ones, full stop, comma, and the basic, basically methodology, where all is to be put what. But did you know a lot about places where it's not been put up? Such as, take full stop as an example. It is not only put at the end of a sentence, but it's also put after the end of a group of words, just so that you broadly emphasize on that particular group of words. But take this example into consideration. It says, it's never acceptable to arrive late, not under any circumstances. So you see how my voice tone is changing, right? I can go like, it's never acceptable to arrive late, not in any circumstances. Your expression changes, you're focusing on it so that the main focus stays there. It's not avoidable. That's where we use a full stop. And of course in abbreviations like AM, Mr., Mrs., and that's how full stop. Coming to comma. Now we know comma is used in a sentence where there are different elements. But hey, are you actually using comma after when you use an inverted comma up there? Just the way it's written, that's not fair, she said. It is basically an expression of continuation. You're not just saying, that's not fair, she said. No, we're saying, that's not fair, she said. So we are expressing how the sentence, how the expression is continuing. That's basically the biggest technique of a comma. You express a continuation. Similarly, we basically use comma to separate two clauses in one sentence. We have an example here. As we had already arrived, we were reluctant to wait. Now, as, and then there are sentences which starts with if. For example, if it rains really badly, we cannot go to office. Now you see the continuation. I don't say if it rains too badly. we cannot go to office. No, I say if it rains too badly, we cannot go. So just to maintain the continuation between two clauses, we use a comma. Also, marking off parts of a sentence. Now here we have an example. Her best friend, Eliza, sang for a living. Now you see again how we are bringing about continuation in a sentence. So I could have also said her best friend, whose name is Eliza. Well, she's a girl. Thank you. So basically, instead of putting in a lot of details just to make your sentence pretty simple yet smooth and short, we use a comma. Her best friend Eliza sang for a living. You see the continuation? It's pretty smooth. Now coming on to semicolon and colon. Guys, this is very, very important in terms of sentence correction for different exams such as GMAT. You really have to put in a lot of emphasis on semicolon and colon. Now, semicolon is basically used between two main clauses and are very, very closely linked to each other. Like, instead of writing two different sentences, you just put in one sentence and you closely link those two sentences. You see an example here. The film was a critical success. Its lead actors were particularly praised. You see, the effect is of two different sentences, but it's clubbed into one. So this is where semicolon comes into picture. However, colon, we do not just use colon to, list down the things, to bring in a list of things, or maybe points, a list of points. But we also use it for we use it between two main clauses, wherein the second clause explains the first clause. Like over here, we have a motto: live life to the fullest or full. So you see how basically the second clause is explaining the first one. This is where your colon comes in. And also just before a quote, guys, colon out here does the work of that. Now instead of putting up, hey, you know what, the headline read that, then you write the particular headline. Over here it's just simple. The headline read, and you have your entire headline. So yup, moving on. Another two basic punctuations, we have exclamatory mark, an exclamation mark, and a question mark. Exclamation mark is basically majorly used to express yourself. Majorly, like, for example, ouch. When we write ouch, at the end of the word we put an exclamatory mark. Ouch, oh, alas, oh my god, dude. So like that we put an exclamatory mark. So firstly, it's used for something when it is said in a shouting way, or when it is spoken very loudly. As I said, whenever you talk loudly, if in case you have to put across any sentence at a louder tone, is where you put exclamatory marks, such as, run as fast as you can, he shouted. Something very amusing. And also it's used in a bracket, basically to, if in case you spot something very funny and ironical, that's where you put an exclamatory mark, to express basically whatever you've read. A question mark. Yes, question mark is usually put after a question. That's an obvious thing. But hey, question mark is also used to express your doubt in a sentence. You have a doubt in a sentence, you have to express it out to someone in written. You can definitely put in the question mark right after the word that, increases the intensity of doubt. So that's where your question mark comes. And guys, also when you're expressing a question, you do not, this is one thing that I've majorly seen amongst people. They usually go like, hey, how's your day? Guys, it's not, hey, how's your day? It's like, hey, how's your day? So you see the change in tone. Instead of, hey, how's your day? Like, hey, how's your day? What are you doing? So there's a typical difference when you're saying something, or when you're asking something, or even when you have to express a doubt, go like, hey, you know what? This is something that I've not understood, so can you please help me out with that? So this is where, a question mark really helps in expressing yourself. Now, this is a passage without punctuation. Let's give it a read. The great panda is a bear native to China. For over 100 years, scientists thought that giant pandas belonged to the raccoon family. Then research in the 1980s showed that these pandas are bears. After all, they're black and white in color with black patches of fur around their eye. People working with the Chinese government. You see how I'm talking? You don't understand, right? You're just reading it. You know what punctuations do? You know the effects of punctuations? Here you go. The great panda is a native bear to China. For over 100 years, scientists thought that the great pandas belonged to the raccoon family. Then, research in the 1980s showed that these pandas are bear after all that are black and white in color with black patches of fur around their eye. Now read this majorly. People working with the Chinese government have said it is better to ban logging in their habitats in order to protect them. Otherwise, it could lead to their extinction. Do you think there can be any other careful measures to be considered in order to protect these pandas? You see how my tone changes? I'm actually expressing everything that I'm saying. I'm expressing a pause after a sentence is over. I'm expressing a continuation with a comma in front of me. I'm also expressing my shock whenever I say pandas are going to be extinct. And I'm asking you, how could we do that? Yeah? So also, basically, this is how a punctuation really matters. Not just in terms of writing it down or filling in a paragraph with punctuations, but also when you're talking, especially in front of public or, in front of, not just public, in front of a few people, and you really want to be heard out right, is when you express yourself correctly. This is where punctuation comes into the picture. Now imagine talking like, hey, I'm Shrishti, I am 24 years old and I am working currently in my own company and I am also a teacher and currently I'm an educator in the Unacademy. You won't get it right. You'll definitely get confused. You'll lose interest. However, if in case I put up myself and like, hey, my name is Shrishti, I'm 24 years old. After describing myself, I go like, now that you know about myself, tell me about yourself. How are you as a person? So you see, there is a level of interest that a person is putting when expressing whatever he or she says. And this is where punctuations come into picture. They help you to express yourself verbally. So when you're talking, and whatever you're talking, if in case you have to write it down, you'll know which punctuation is to be put where. And also vice versa. When you're reading something that you've already written, thanks to punctuations, you can actually express yourself out completely well. So guys, I have also sent in a passage using colon and semicolon, which is nothing else but, again, whenever you're using a colon, whenever you've spotted a colon, see, I've spotted one over here, and I've spotted basically a double inverted comma here. Now we do not use a double inverted comma just for a conversation, but we also use it to majorly emphasize. Like, I know single inverted commas is to specify something, but hey guys, did you all know double inverted commas is to majorly emphasize on a group of words? Like, hey, the idea of rites of passage, like that. So yes, and I've also spotted a semicolon out here, which basically helps me again to link my second clause with the first one closely. And so the expression out here, at least of a colon, is to pause. While as semicolon, you don't really pause, but you give a sense of pause and a continuation. It's like a mixture of both full stop and comma. So why don't you all do one thing? Please put in your feedback. Try expressing yourself, try reading this passage out and put in your feedback as to how it worked with you. Any help and you've got me out there. Thank you so much.